The alien station floated above the dark world, shining like a crown in the endless sky. It was a place where hundreds of species met, traded, and judged one another. Here pride was currency, strength was power, and weakness was laughed at without mercy. Among the many who walked the shining halls was a girl from the Zerreen. Her people were tall, graceful, with crystal eyes and sharp voices. She was young, proud, and quick to laugh. Her family had told her stories about humans, strange creatures from a small blue planet. They said humans were weak, slow, always hungry, and always begging for help. She believed those stories, and she believed she was above them. On that day, she entered the common hall of the station. The smell of food spread from the stalls, alien meals boiling, sizzling, and glowing in strange colors. She carried herself like a queen. When she saw him, the human, she almost walked past. But then she heard the sound, a growl, not from a beast, not from a predator, but from his own body. His stomach growled loudly, so loud that even nearby traders turned their heads. The alien girl stopped and looked at him with surprise. He was sitting on a bench, hands folded, face calm, yet his body betrayed him. Hunger spoke louder than words. She laughed. Her voice rang through the hall, sharp like glass breaking. "So the stories are true," she said with a smile. "Humans cannot even control their own bodies. You come to the great station of Zerreen, and you beg for food with your belly." The human looked at her. His eyes were not crystal, not glowing, not sharp like hers. They were soft brown, quiet, and calm. He did not stand up, he did not argue, he only smiled. "It is true," he said. "I am hungry." The alien girl blinked. She had expected anger, shame, or excuses. Instead, she got calm acceptance. It made her laugh again. "So simple," she said. "So weak." Other aliens nearby joined her laughter. A truck with tusks pointed at the human. A small Yaren clapped its hands. The hall filled with mocking sounds, yet the human only sat silent, letting the noise pass like wind. The alien girl leaned closer. "Do you not care that they laugh at you?" she asked. "Do you not feel shame?" The human tilted his head. "Shame for being hungry?" he asked. "No, hunger is part of life. Even your people must eat, don't they?" Her smile faded for a second. She wanted to answer quickly, but the words caught in her throat. It was true, even her proud people ate. But none would ever let their hunger be seen. To show need was weakness, to laugh at others was strength. That was the rule. Still, this human sat there without fear. Without anger, he even spoke gently. It was strange, it was unsettling. She crossed her arms, hiding her confusion. "Maybe you will learn," she said. "That weakness is dangerous here. Hunger is not funny, it is deadly." "You will not last long." The human finally stood. His movement was slow but steady. His eyes met hers. And for the first time, she felt something unusual. There was no pride in him, no sharp glow, but something heavier. "Something quiet, maybe," he said. "Or maybe strength is not what you think it is." The alien girl frowned. His words were too calm, too simple, yet they scratched at her thoughts. She wanted to dismiss him, laugh again, but part of her mind refused. She turned quickly and walked away, her long steps echoing in the hall. The others still laughed at the human, but their laughter was fading. Some even looked at him with curiosity instead. The human sat back down, folding his hands again. He closed his eyes as if he was resting. His stomach growled once more, but he only smiled. The alien girl could not stop thinking about it. Her people had taught her that humans were weak. They had told her to laugh, and she had laughed. But why had he not broken? Why had he not shouted? Why had his calm words shaken her more than her own laughter shook him? She told herself it was nothing, just a strange moment in the hall. Yet deep inside, she felt a spark of curiosity, a spark she did not want to admit. The meeting was short, just a laugh and a few words. Yet it was the start of something she could not understand. The girl did not know it, but she would never forget the sound of his stomach, or the calm way he faced her laughter. It was the beginning of a story that would turn her world upside down. The alien girl thought she had forgotten the human. She told herself he was nothing, a hungry creature with no pride. But when she returned to the common hall the next day, she found her eyes searching for him, and there he was, sitting in the same place, quiet and calm, as if the whole galaxy was not rushing around him. This time he had food, a simple bowl of something steaming, not the colorful shining meals of the station, but plain bread and broth. He ate slowly without shame. His calmness annoyed her. She wanted him to look desperate, to show weakness again. But he did not. She walked closer, her steps echoing. Other aliens turned to look. They expected another scene, another round of laughter. She liked being at the center of attention. She liked the feeling of eyes on her.
"So the human has learned to feed himself," she said with a sharp smile.
"I thought you would starve by now." He looked up at her. Chewing calmly, he swallowed before speaking. "I found work," he said simply, "and I was paid. So I bought food." Her brow furrowed. "Work? What work can a human do here?" she asked. "You are not strong like the Troc, not clever like the Zareen, not quick like the Yaren. What can you possibly do?" He wiped his mouth with his sleeve, then met her eyes. "I carried boxes," he said. "Heavy ones." The aliens nearby laughed. Carrying boxes was work for servants, for machines, not for anyone with pride. But he said it with no shame, as if it was nothing to him. The alien girl leaned closer. Her crystal eyes gleamed. "You think this is strength?" she asked. "To be a servant? To sweat and bend your back for food?" The human tilted his head. "To eat after working is better than to eat after mocking," he said quietly. Her jaw tightened. His words were soft, but they struck. She felt heat in her chest. She wanted to push him, to test him. She wanted to see how far his calmness could go. "Very well, human," she said, raising her voice so the crowd could hear. "If you think strength is more than words, prove it. I challenge you." The hall grew quiet. Challenges on the station were serious. Not always fights to the death, but always tests of skill, pride, or power. The aliens leaned closer, waiting to see if the human would run. But he did not run. He did not even look nervous. He nodded once. "What kind of challenge?" he asked. Her smile widened. She had expected fear, but his calmness only made her push harder. "A test of endurance," she said. "The gravity chamber." Gasps rippled through the hall. The gravity chamber was a place where the weight of worlds could crush you. It was used for training soldiers. For testing machines, no one entered without fear. The human looked around, then back at her. "All right," he said. "All right." She repeated, shocked. "You agree just like that?" He nodded again, calm as ever. "Why not?" He said, "You wanted a test. I will accept." The alien girl felt her pride burning. She had chosen the chamber to break him, to make him crawl. Now she had no choice but to follow through. The others cheered, their voices filling the hall. They loved a spectacle. They loved to see a human fail. They walked together to the training wing. The heavy doors opened, and the chamber stood waiting. Its walls were dark, its floor lined with glowing panels. The operator, a stern Troc, raised a brow at them. "Another foolish game?" he asked. "Very well, but do not blame me if bones are broken." The alien girl stepped inside proudly. The human followed, his steps steady. The door closed with a hiss. The operator's voice filled the chamber. "Gravity will rise in stages, stand or fall. The choice is yours." The floor pulsed and the weight increased. The girl stood tall, her spine straight. She was trained for this. She had done it before. She watched the human, waiting for him to bend, but he did not bend. His knees flexed slightly, his breath slowed, but he stayed standing, calm as ever. The weight grew heavier, pressing on their shoulders. Her legs began to tremble, but she kept her chin high. She glanced at him again, expecting to see him on the floor. Instead, he looked back at her, still steady. "How?" she muttered under her breath. He should not have lasted this long. Humans were not built for this. She felt anger mixed with fear. The operator raised the gravity again. Her chest burned, sweat rolled down her back. She gritted her teeth, but her pride refused to fall. She looked again at the human. His face was red now, but his eyes were calm. He even smiled. That smile struck her harder than the weight. He was not just surviving, he was showing her something. Something she did not understand. Finally, the operator stopped the chamber. "Enough," he said. "You both endured. Few can last this far." The gravity lifted, the pressure faded. She gasped for air, her knees shaking, but she stayed standing. The human stretched his shoulders, then looked at her with the same quiet calm. "You wanted proof," he said softly. "Now you have it." The alien girl said nothing. Her pride would not let her admit what she felt, shock, anger, and a strange, unwilling respect. She turned away quickly, hiding her face, but deep inside she knew this human was not like the stories. He was something else, something dangerous. And for the first time, she wondered if the real weakness was not his hunger, but her laughter. The station buzzed with whispers after the gravity chamber. Everyone had seen the human stand where many aliens had fallen. Some laughed less now, some stared with new curiosity. Yet the alien girl told herself it meant nothing. She had lasted too, she had not fallen. So why should she care about his endurance? But in her heart she knew it was different. He had not trained like her. He had not grown in a society where strength was drilled into every child. He should have failed, he should have bent, yet he did not. And that unsettled her more than she wished to admit. The next day, the human was back in the hall. Not boasting, not seeking attention. He sat at a corner table, repairing something small with his hands, his brow furrowed in focus. His fingers moved quickly, twisting wires, fixing a broken piece of alien tech that a traitor had discarded. She watched from afar, curious despite herself. "Why do you waste time with trash?" she asked as she stepped closer. He looked up, then down at the device again. "It is not trash," he said. "It only needs a little work." She tilted her head. The device was a cracked power core, dead by all station standards. "You cannot fix that," she said with a sharp laugh. "Even Czarine engineers throw those away," but he only smiled. "We humans are used to working with little," he said. "On my world, sometimes you must fix or you have nothing." His calm tone irritated her. She wanted him to fail again, to see him humiliated, yet moments later, the device flickered, a faint light sparking to life. The nearby traders gasped. One even stepped forward, offering coins for the repaired core. The human traded it away and bought food. Again plain, again simple, he ate with quiet satisfaction. The alien girl folded her arms, feeling something twist inside. This human had strength in places she did not understand. Not only in body, but in mind. Later that week, the challenge spread further. The station organized a test of strategy. A contest played on glowing boards where alien captains trained for war. She entered proudly, expecting to dominate, and to her surprise, the human signed up too. The crowd laughed when his name was called. "A human strategist?" One sneered. "He will not last a single round," the alien girl smirked, ready to crush him. Yet as the glowing pieces lit the board, the human's eyes sharpened. He studied the map quickly, as if he had seen such games before the match began. She made bold moves, fast and aggressive. Her people valued dominance, striking first and striking hard. The human moved slower, calm, as if each piece was precious. At first she thought he was weak, defensive, then she saw it. His pieces circled hers, traps hidden in small steps. Minutes stretched, the crowd leaned closer. Her bold attack collapsed. His calm defense turned into an attack of its own. Piece by piece, she lost ground. She clenched her fists under the table. Her pride burned. How could this be? He was no captain, no scholar of war. Yet his eyes were steady, his mind sharp. When the final piece fell, the board flashed his victory. The hall erupted with noise. Some cheered, some shouted in disbelief. The alien girl froze, her heart pounding. For the second time, this human had stood against her and won. She rose from her seat quickly, her voice sharp. "Luck," she said. "Nothing but luck." But the human only gave a small smile. "Maybe," he said. "Or maybe strength comes in more forms than you think." His words echoed. Calm as always, yet heavy. She turned and walked away, her pride cutting like a blade, but deep inside her mind churned. She lay awake that night, replaying the board game in her head. Every move he made was deliberate, patient, the same patience she saw when he faced hunger, when he faced gravity. It was not luck. It was something else. For her people, strength was speed, sharpness, pride. But this human showed another kind. Quiet and steady, he did not shout. He did not boast, he simply endured, he simply thought. The next day, she saw him again, carrying boxes for traders, fixing broken devices, eating plain food. He lived simply, but everything he touched seemed to change. Machines worked, traders smiled. Even the laughter against him was softer now. She walked past him, pretending not to care. Yet her ears caught every word he spoke. Every calm tone, she hated it, and yet she wanted to hear more. The alien girl felt something dangerous growing inside her. It was not respect, not yet. It was not admiration, not yet. It was something smaller but sharper. Curiosity. This human was supposed to be weak. But time after time he showed hidden strength. And though she would not admit it, she wanted to know what else he could do. Her pride told her to stay away. Her heart told her to watch. She did not know which voice to follow, but deep down she felt it already. The story of this human was only beginning, and one day she would no longer laugh at his hunger. She would stand stunned just like the rest. The days on the station passed quickly. The human worked, ate, and lived simply, yet whispers followed him now. Some called him clever, others called him stubborn, but none called him weak anymore. The alien girl tried to ignore it. She told herself she had no interest in him, no reason to care, yet every time she saw his calm eyes, she remembered the chamber, the game, the words that cut deeper than laughter. Then the crisis came. It started like a whisper in the engines, a small shake that no one noticed. The station had floated for years without trouble, but this day was different. A sudden alarm cut through the hall, lights flashing red, a voice booming through the speakers. Power core unstable. Evacuation advised. The crowd broke into chaos. Traders screamed, children cried, guards shouted orders. The alien girl stood frozen for a moment, her sharp pride trembling under the sound of real danger. The smell of smoke filled the air. Sparks crackled from broken panels. She turned to run with her people, but then she saw him. The human. He was not running, he was moving against the flood of bodies. His eyes focused, his step steady. "What are you doing?" she shouted as he passed. "The core will explode." "You will die." He glanced at her, calm even now. "If the core explodes, everyone dies," he said, and he kept walking. His words struck her harder than the alarm. She felt her legs move before her mind could stop them. She followed him. The power core chamber was filled with smoke and fire. Panels sparking wildly, engineers shouted, struggling with controls that no longer answered. "It's over," one cried. "The containment is broken." "We cannot stop it." The human stepped forward, his hands moving across the controls. "Show me the manual override," he said. The engineers stared at him. You are not trained," one said. He ignored them. His fingers found switches. His eyes sharp with focus, he did not move like someone guessing. He moved like someone who had learned through survival, through necessity. The alien girl coughed, the smoke burning her throat. "You will fail," she said. But her voice lacked its old sharpness, maybe, he answered. But trying is better than running. He pulled wires. Sparks burned his skin, but he did not stop. He turned valves that screeched with pressure. His muscles straining, he gave orders to the engineers, and to their surprise they obeyed. His calm tone carried weight. The chamber shook again, heavier, hotter. The alien girl grabbed a railing. Her heart racing, her people valued pride. But in this moment, pride was nothing. Only survival mattered, the human shouted. "Now, lock the coolant release!" The engineers rushed. Slamming controls, the core screamed like a living beast, lights flashing so bright they burned the eyes, then silence. The lights turned blue, steady. The alarm faded, the core stabilized. For a long moment, no one moved. The engineers stared. Breathing heavy, their hands shook, but the humans were steady, only burned and blackened from sparks. He wiped sweat from his face, then looked around. "It is safe now," he said. The alien girl's chest tightened. She had never seen such courage. Not from her people, not from anyone. He had walked into fire while others ran. He had faced death without pride, without glory, only with calm. One of the engineers bowed his head. "You saved the station," he whispered. The human shook his head. "We saved it," he said simply. The alien girl stared at him, her crystal eyes wide. She remembered how she had laughed at his hunger. She remembered how she had mocked his calmness. Now she felt her own pride burning into shame. "Why?" she asked softly. "Why risk your life? These are not your people. This is not your home." He looked at her, his eyes steady. "Because life is life," he said. "If we do not protect it, then what is the point of strength?" His words struck her deeper than any challenge. They cut through her pride like a blade. She had grown up believing strength was for power, for honor, for showing others their weakness. But this human showed her a strength that asked for nothing, a strength that gave instead of took. The crowd outside cheered when they learned the crisis was over. The human walked out quietly, no boasting, no demand for reward. He sat again at his corner table, his burned hands wrapped in cloth. He ate plain bread as if nothing had happened. The alien girl could not look away. She felt something dangerous now. Something beyond curiosity, it was respect. And it scared her that night. She lay awake again. The station had survived. But her heart was restless for the first time in her life. She wondered if her people had been wrong, if perhaps weakness was not hunger, not calmness, not quiet patience. Perhaps weakness was pride itself. She turned on her bed, closing her eyes, but in the silence she heard his calm voice again. If we do not protect life, what is the point of strength? And she knew deep inside that her story with this human was far from over. The station was alive with celebration after the crisis. Traders told the story in every corner. Children repeated it like legend. "The human saved us," they whispered. Some believed, some doubted, but all spoke his name. The alien girl listened to every word. Her pride twisting inside, she told herself it did not matter. He had been lucky, or perhaps guided by chance. Yet her eyes betrayed her heart. They searched for him again and again, until she found him where he always was, sitting quietly repairing broken things, eating plain food, never asking for praise. She walked closer, slower than before. Her voice was softer too. "Your hands," she said, seeing the bandages. "They are burned." He looked up, surprised she had spoken without mockery. He lifted his wrapped palms, smiling faintly. "They will heal," he said. It was worth it, her chest tightened. She did not understand him. Her people saw pain as weakness, yet he wore his scars like nothing, as if pain was only another thing to endure. For the first time she sat near him, not to laugh, not to challenge, but to listen. The silence stretched, heavy, then she asked, "Why do you live like this? Why do you take small work, eat simple food, never demand more?" He thought for a moment before answering. "Because life is not about how much you take," he said. "It is about how much you can give without breaking." His words echoed in her mind. Sharp and strange, she did not reply. She only stared at him. And he did not look away. For the first time, she felt as if he could see through her sharp pride, through every layer of arrogance her people had built inside her. The days passed and something changed. She found herself walking beside him, not always speaking, but always watching. He showed her things she had never cared to notice: how to repair small machines, how to see patterns in the movement of crowds, how to use patience instead of force. One evening, as the station dimmed its lights for rest, a fight broke out in the lower halls. Smugglers against guards, blades flashing, voices screaming. The alien girl rushed forward, her training making her ready for battle. But when she saw the human step in beside her, calm as always, she felt something new. "Stay close," he said, not as an order, but as a promise. She fought with speed, her strikes sharp, her pride demanding victory. He fought with focus, every move meant to protect. His fists, his body, his presence, all turned to shield others. At first she thought he was reckless. His back was exposed, his burns still fresh. Yet every time danger came near her, he was there, blocking, deflecting, absorbing the strike. He fought not for himself, but for those beside him when the smugglers fled. The hall was littered with silence. Guards groaned, children cried, but the human stood steady. Breathing hard, blood on his lip, his eyes turned to her. "Are you hurt?" he asked. She shook her head, stunned by the question. No one had ever asked her that before. In her world, you were expected to stand, to hide your wounds, yet here he was, more broken than her, and still his first thought was her safety. Something cracked inside her pride, a small fracture that grew deeper with each moment. She wanted to laugh, to dismiss him, but no laughter came, only words she barely recognized as her own. "You protected me," she said, softly, almost like a confession. He smiled faintly. "We protected each other," he said. She stared at him, her chest heavy. The bond was forming, though she tried to resist it. Pride told her it was weakness, but her heart whispered it was strength. That night she could not sleep. Her mind replayed every moment. His burned hands on the controls, his calm voice in the smoke, his steady presence in the fight. She had grown up believing her people were above all others. But now she questioned everything. The next day she walked with him openly. No laughter, no sharp words. She asked him questions. About his world, about his people, about why humans endured. He answered with simple honesty. Never boasting, never hiding. "Humans are fragile," he said, "but we survive because we stand together. We suffer hunger. We suffer storms. We suffer war. But we keep moving. We do not always win, but we do not stop." She listened, her crystal eyes softer than before. For the first time, she felt no desire to mock him. Instead, she felt something new and frightening: admiration. The alien girl had always believed bonds were chains, that trust made you weak. But beside this human, she felt stronger, not weaker. She felt as if together they could stand against anything. And deep inside, though she did not say it aloud, She knew the truth. She was no longer watching him out of curiosity. She was standing beside him because she wanted to, because the bond was real. For the first time in her life, she did not feel alone. The bond between them grew stronger with each passing day. The alien girl no longer laughed at the human. She no longer called him weak. Instead, she found herself walking beside him, listening, asking, and sometimes even smiling. It was strange, it was dangerous, yet it felt real. But questions burned inside her mind. Who was he truly? Where had he come from? Why did he hide his strength beneath such simple living? One evening, when the station was quiet, she could no longer keep the questions inside. They sat together in the corner of the hall, the human repairing a broken light. She leaned closer, her voice softer than she had ever used before. "Tell me," she said, "why are you here? What is your story?" The human paused. His hand stilling for the first time, she saw hesitation in his eyes. His calm was not gone, but it was heavier, like a weight he had carried for years. "You will not like the truth," he said. She straightened, her pride whispering she was strong enough to hear anything. "I demand it," she said, though her tone was more fragile than commanding. He set the broken light aside, folded his burned hands, and finally spoke. "I was a soldier," he said. "On my world, humans fight often, sometimes to protect, sometimes to survive. I fought in wars where hunger was common, where friends fell beside me, where survival was a daily question." Her eyes widened. The calmness she had seen, the endurance, the patience, it all began to make sense. "You fought," she whispered. He nodded slowly. "Yes, and I lost much. My people say humans are fragile, but in war we learn something. We learn that strength is not muscles, not pride, not loud voices. Strength is carrying pain and still walking. Strength is protecting others even when you are breaking inside." His voice was quiet, but every word struck her heart like thunder. She thought of the gravity chamber, the strategy game, the crisis, the fight in the lower halls. He had not been showing off, he had been surviving, the way only someone scarred by war could. "Why leave your world?" she asked, her voice trembling. "Why come here?" He looked at her, his eyes filled with something deeper than calm, sorrow. "Because my world has no place for me now," he said. "The war ended, but I did not. I carry it still, and so I left, searching for peace. Or perhaps for meaning." The alien girl felt her chest tighten. She had mocked his hunger, yet that hunger was born from sacrifice. She had called him weak. Yet his strength came from a past heavier than her pride could ever imagine. "Do you regret it?" she asked softly. He shook his head. "No, I regret only the losses, not the choice. If I had not fought, others would not live. That is enough for me." She looked away, unable to meet his eyes. Her crystal pride cracked deeper. Shame washed over her. She remembered the sound of her own laughter at his empty stomach. She remembered her words, sharp and cruel. She wanted to take them back, but words could not be erased. The silence stretched between them. Heavy and raw, she wanted to speak, but she did not know how. She had never said sorry in her life. Her people never apologized. Yet the words sat heavy on her tongue. "Finally," she whispered, "I was wrong." He tilted his head. As if he had not heard, she forced herself to repeat. Louder this time. "I was wrong. I thought you were weak, I mocked you, but now I see. You are stronger than I ever understood." For a long moment, he did not answer. Then he smiled, not in pride, not in victory, but in kindness. "You were not wrong to laugh," he said. "It is easy to laugh at what we do not understand, but you chose to listen. And that is more important." Her throat burned. She had expected anger or silence. Instead, he gave her forgiveness she did not deserve. That night she could not sleep again. The truth of his past weighed heavy in her mind. A soldier, a survivor, a man who carried scars deeper than flesh. Yet he still smiled, still protected, still endured. She realized something terrifying. Her people had told her stories of humans, stories of weakness, fragility, hunger, but they had never told her this. They had never told her that humans could carry pain like mountains. They had never told her that humans could forgive so easily. And in the silence of her chamber, she whispered to herself a truth she could no longer deny. She was no longer curious about him. No longer simply watching him, she was beginning to care. The human's truth had broken the last wall inside her, and though she did not yet understand it, she felt her world changing. Because the alien girl who once laughed at hunger now carried a secret. She did not just respect the human, She admired him and perhaps something more. The truth had changed everything. The alien girl could no longer see the human as weak. She could no longer laugh at him. Instead, she carried his words in her heart like a hidden flame. They walked together often now, no longer as strangers, but not yet as friends. Something deeper waited between them. Something neither of them named. The station soon faced another test. A group of raiders descended, ships painted in blood red, weapons crackling with fire. They came fast, breaking through patrol lines. Demanding surrender, the station shook with fear. Traders rushed to hide, guards scrambled to prepare. The alien girl stood ready, her pride still sharp. But this time she did not stand alone. The human was beside her, calm as ever. When the raiders stormed the docking bay, chaos followed. Blades clashed, weapons fired, screams filled the air. The alien girl fought with speed, her strikes cutting through the enemy. Yet always she felt his presence near her. Shielding, protecting, moving where the danger was greatest at one moment. A raider 3 times her size lunged with a burning blade. She blocked, but her arm shook under the weight. Before the strike could break her guard, the human was there. He took the blow on his shoulder, the fire searing his flesh, but he did not fall. With a roar unlike anything she had ever heard from him, he struck back and the raider crashed to the ground. Her chest tightened with fear and awe. "You are hurt," she cried. But he only shook his head. "Not yet," he said, his eyes steady even as blood ran down his arm. The battle raged and slowly the tide turned. The raiders, expecting fear, found resistance instead. The human's calm strength spread to the guards, his voice cutting through panic. Guiding them, soon the raiders broke, retreating back to their ships, leaving smoke and silence in their wake. The alien girl stood among the wreckage. Her chest heaving, her blade dripping, she turned to the human. And for the first time she truly saw him. Not as weak, not as strange, not even as different, but as something far beyond what she had imagined. He was wounded, his body broken, but his eyes still calm, still steady, still unshaken. "You saved us again," she whispered. He shook his head, blood on his lips. "We saved each other," he said, her heart twisted. The pride of her people screamed at her to stay silent, to stand tall, to laugh and hide what she felt. But she could not anymore. The truth inside her had grown too heavy. Her voice trembled as she spoke. "When I first met you, I laughed at your hunger. I thought you weak. I thought you were nothing, but now I know the truth. You are stronger than I will ever be." For the first time, her sharp crystal eyes softened. They shone not with pride, but with something else, respect. And perhaps something more. The human smiled faintly, though his body shook with pain. "Strength takes many forms," he said. "Yours is sharp, mine is steady. Together, they are enough." She stepped closer, her hand trembling. Against all the lessons of her people, she reached out. Her fingers touched his burned hand. Gently, carefully, his skin was rough, scarred yet warm. He looked at her, surprised. But he did not pull away. In that moment she realized the truth. The girl who once mocked him now stood stunned. Not because of his endurance, not because of his victories, but because of the bond he had given her. A bond built on patience, courage, and forgiveness. The hall filled with cheers as survivors gathered, calling the human a hero, yet he did not bask in glory. He only leaned against the wall, breathing hard, his calm smile unshaken. The alien girl stayed beside him. No longer ashamed, no longer laughing, her pride was still there. But it had changed. It no longer burned to mock. It burned to protect, to stand with him. As the stars outside glittered beyond the station's glass, she whispered to herself words she never thought she would say. "The stories of humans were wrong," she said. "They are not weak, they are not fragile. They are something greater, something I cannot name," and she knew then her life would never return to what it was. She had mocked a hungry human, and in return, he had shown her the meaning of true strength. The ending of their story was not truly an ending, it was a beginning. The bond between an alien girl and a human survivor, a bond that stunned her more than any battle, more than any pride, more than any victory. And though she still remembered her laughter, she knew one truth clearly now. She would never laugh at him again.